The Halloween celebrations in Shanghai, which started garnering widespread attention from October 28th, culminated on Halloween Eve. On West Yan'an Road, a woman dressed as a funeral wreath, while a man took on the appearance of a street sign with the inscription, "I am in Shanghai, missing you dearly." Their costumes during the time of former Premier Li Keqiang's passing was seen as satirical, eliciting knowing smiles from onlookers. People seemed to be anticipating the demise of Xi Jinping, yet lamented that Xi simply would not pass away. The two costumed individuals were ultimately penalized by the Shanghai police, sparking vigorous online debate among netizens. By October 30th, the eve of Halloween, locals such as Shanghai Disney, Julu Road, Fumin Road, and Changle Road transformed into a carnival of cosplay. On anonymous forums, it was mentioned that the Shanghai public took their Halloween festivities to new heights, with cosplay events turning into grand satirical spectacles. Through placards and costumes, people displayed their irony and criticism towards reality. A cosplay of Winnie the Pooh dancing wildly was particularly amusing to onlookers. A mainland resident described the scene on Julu Road on the night of October 31st, saying, "Here you can do what you want, say what you want. This is what it feels like to be alive." This young individual's costume was especially meaningful. He transformed into a giant surveillance camera, subtly alluding to the Chinese Communist Party's intensified surveillance of ordinary citizens. Through Skynet, itinerary codes, health codes, WeChat, anti-fraud software, and other means, the privacy of citizens has been extensively and intricately invaded, reminiscent of the omnipresent surveillance depicted in George Orwell's 1984, where Big Brother is always watching. The political significance embedded within such costumes was indeed profound. White Paper Revolution. This young woman's outfit, though seemingly simple, was laden with deep meaning. She was covered in A4 white paper, the symbol of last year's world-shaking white paper revolution. Last year, Xi Jinping's government's draconian pandemic control policies triggered a wide range of protests. Countless young people took to the streets with A4 white papers in silent protest against the harsh pandemic restrictions, posing an unprecedented threat to the Chinese Communist Party. It became a highly sensitive topic. This lady's signature white paper outfit for Halloween showed that the memory of the white paper revolution amongst the younger generation had not faded, and the desire for freedom and justice remained strong at heart. Despite the fact that the white paper movement did not lead to many arrests or convictions, and those detained were later released, the courage of people continuing to express themselves in this manner after experiencing such fear is indeed commendable. Farewell, my concubine. In a striking demonstration of sartorial symbolism, a lady at the Halloween festivities donned a costume reminiscent of the iconic opera attire. With a sign around her neck, boldly crossed out the words "Down with Cheng Die Yi," referencing the famous still from the film Farewell, My Concubine. This film, acclaimed with a Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, narrates the tragic tale of Cheng Die Yi, a gifted Peking opera performer whose life spirals into despair amidst the tribulations of the Cultural Revolution.
你当今日小人作乱，祸从天降，不是，不对，是咱们自个儿一步一步走到这步田地来的报应。
The lady's enactment was not merely a costume choice, but seemed to be a poignant commentary on certain phenomenon in contemporary society that echo the turbulent times of the Cultural Revolution. The act served as a grim reminder of the dark chapters of human malice displayed during that era, urging a vigilance against repeating such history, especially concerning human rights, liberty, and individual dignity. No going backwards. A young individual sported a red guard armband on his left arm and held aloft a sign stating "No reverse flow," in a pointed reference to a famous quote by former Chinese Premier Li Keqiang. The quote firmly declared China's commitment to opening up regardless of international changes, mentioning the impossibility of rivers like the Yangtze and the Yellow Rivers flowing backward. The costume juxtaposed symbols of past extremism with a warning against any regression or stalling in the country's reform and opening up, reflecting a bold and possibly provocative stance. This attire echoes the youth's acute awareness and concern for societal shifts and political directions. Lunar New Year Eve. On the eve of the Lunar New Year, a young person's choice to masquerade as a road sign inscribed with "I really want to spend New Year's Eve at the company" satirically addressed the controversial omission of New Year's Eve from the list of official holidays in 2024. The government's decision, released on October 25th, failed to recognize New Year's Eve as a holiday, sparking widespread discontent and heated discussion. Rumors suggested a pun between New Year's Eve and removing "she", as both have similar pronunciations, therefore potentially displeasing President Xi Jinping. In response, on October 30th, Beijing's ByteDance company announced a day off for New Year's Eve, not deducting from the annual leave quota. This was met with much public acclaim. A fashion writer and prominent Weibo user, Cheng Xiaohui, commented, "Even though we are a small company of about 20 people, we will definitely provide a day off for New Year's Eve. Every Chinese person knows what New Year's Eve means to us. The insistence on working legally on this day is utterly incomprehensible." This sentiment reflected the broad public opinion that views New Year's Eve as an indispensable cultural occasion deserving of legal holiday status. Big White. In a striking display during Shanghai's Halloween festivities, the character of Baymax, known as Big White in Chinese, costumes gained notable attention, becoming a popular costume choice among the youth. Clad in big white suits and armed with cotton swabs, revelers humorlessly recreated scenes from last year's mass PCR testing. Some even playfully mimicked swab tests in a manner both amusing and satirical. The widespread practice of PCR testing over the past 3 years has been a source of considerable public discontent in China. President Xi Jinping has publicly taken charge of this policy, positioning him as the primary figure responsible for its implications. However, with no direct access to voice grievances to Xi, Big White has become a symbolic figure for public exasperation. The emergence of these Big Whites swiftly drew police scrutiny. Individuals dressed up as testers encountered police inquiries, sparking extensive online debate and mockery. Netizens questioned why Big White, last year's glorified figure and even symbol of national policy, has now been relegated to a sensitive subject, even seen as a vulgar matter not to be broached. This shift occurs as the Communist Party attempts to reshape the cultural memory of Big White, marking such costumes as inherently risky. Wolf Warrior. Another youth made a poignant statement by carrying a sign reading "Though far away, must be punished," while wearing a mask of Wu Jing and a shirt emblazoned with China. This references the iconic line from the Wu Jing directed and starred film Wolf Warrior, which embodied the protagonist's bravery and patriotism. In this context, however, the phrase takes on new meaning, potentially serving as a critique and reflection on the nationalist sentiment and the reality of China's assertive wolf warrior diplomatic policy, delivering a profound social commentary. Lu Xun. A young individual chose to embody the renowned Shanghai writer of the 1930s, Lu Xun, brandishing a sign that conveyed the thought-provoking message, "Medicine cannot cure the Chinese people." This message harks back to Lu Xun's personal journey from medicine to literature, symbolizing that treating physical ailments is insufficient to heal the spiritual and ideological maladies of the populace. Holding Lu Xun's works, the youth solemnly read out, "I hope that the youth of China will be free from the cold and no longer listen to the words of those who have given up on themselves. Those who can act out should act, those who can speak should speak. If you have 1 degree of warmth, give 1 degree of light. Do not wait." This cold refers to the apathy and defeatism that can plague youth due to various social and perspective challenges. By invoking Lu Xun's ideas, the young man links historical thought with contemporary societal realities, urging the new generation to engage in critical thought and decisive action to take control of their destinies. This act, however, bears its own risks, as the ruling Communist Party, despite praising Lu Xun, is reluctant to have the youth fully embrace his literature and spirit. Social problems. The stock market's continued downturn, job hunting difficulties, and perceived injustices within the legal system have been artfully depicted by the youth through costumes this year. A young individual was spotted holding a chart of the Shanghai Stock Exchange Index's downward trajectory, complemented by another person holding a leek, satirically symbolizing the direct economic climate with the A-share market in constant decline, breaking below 3,000 points and numerous investors facing significant losses. This act pointed to the perception of the authorities' exploitation of the people. Another youth, garbed in a costume marked the second party, succinctly communicated the domineering presence of the first party in the marketplace. An additional youngster, bowl in hand and tagged as architecture student, implied the unemployment and subsequent hardships faced by many designers following the real estate market's burst bubble. These current social issues were vividly conveyed by the younger generation. Chinese singer Gao Jiafeng garnered unexpected fame on the streets of Shanghai during Halloween, brandishing a sign that struck a chord: "It's already hard enough to be oneself on regular days, it's okay not to dress up for Halloween." This straightforward sentiment resonated deeply with netizens, as evidenced by the outpouring of empathy in comments like, "This speaks to my heart." Seeing this sign almost brought me to tears, and I genuinely feel life is hard. Although costumed individuals represented a minority, their creativity and bravery not only captured attention, but also provided a form of emotional solace. Have a look at the fervor of this year's Halloween in Shanghai. Halloween has now become a public platform for outspokenness in Shanghai, offering the youth a chance to vent exuberantly, reflecting their increasingly chaotic yet ordered mental state. Some observers noted that this version of Halloween revealed the enthusiasm and frustrations of the youth, highlighting that everyone is a vibrant individual, and showed a preference for Halloween over costly stays in psychiatric hospitals due to its better value for money. Of course, the authorities did not permit such expressions of dissent. The law enforcement chief of the Shanghai Municipal Administration of Culture and Tourism was dismissed because the cosplay on Halloween was deemed too impressive. According to netizens, Halloween celebrations at locations such as Yan'an Central Green Space and Julu Road were disbanded by police, who erected barricades and prohibited crowd entries. Through loudspeakers, the police announced the closure of all bars and declared any unauthorized gatherings illegal. Many individuals, including a Spider-Man cosplayer, were dispersed by the police. A person dressed as an emperor was stopped by officers. And even someone in a big white costume was taken away by the police. Shanghai universities issued notices prohibiting the posting of Halloween or Christmas-related photos and text on social media circles, warning that non-compliance could impact party membership status. On Xiaohongshu, a popular social media platform, searches related to Shanghai Halloween yielded no results. It has been suggested that Halloween night 2023 in Shanghai may be remembered as a historical tableau, symbolizing the turbulence under political oppression. From 1840 to the 1890s, facing Western dominance, Shanghai opened its ports to international trade, absorbing the fruits of the British and American industrial revolutions. With the introduction of the steam locomotive and telegraph, China kept pace with global civilization. Entering the period from 1990 to 2010, Shanghai rapidly internationalized, becoming the gateway for Western entry into the Chinese market. However, in the early 2020s, Shanghai nearly lost its prestige due to prolonged, comprehensive pandemic lockdowns. Against this backdrop, the night of Halloween 2023 saw a group of inconspicuous youths injecting new thought and energy into a struggling Shanghai with simple costumes and a few words. The youth of Shanghai have given a new significance to the Western tradition of Halloween. They have challenged authority with humor and satire, demonstrating that the Chinese are not numb. They maintain a desire for freedom and rights even amidst adversity. Their Halloween photos went viral on social media both domestically and abroad, drawing widespread amazement and attention. This courage is not unique to Shanghainese. Recent commemorations for the late Li Keqiang have transcended mere mourning to become a form of political expression. People have found unique ways to grieve, such as bringing flattened steamed buns to memorial sites, symbolically indicating a desire to flatten Xi Jinping with deep and sharp implications. Online eulogies like, "What men do, the heavens watch, the scoundrel will eventually be gone. Democracy, freedom, the rule of law, and prosperity are bound to be realized," are not just expressions of mourning, but also direct political demands. Contrary to the belief that Chinese people only worship wise rulers and do not resist, the Halloween in Shanghai and the mourning for Li Keqiang vividly reflect the brewing sentiment of resistance in Chinese society. As demonstrated by the videos and images shown today, the spirit of the Chinese people is resilient. Even if not frequently visible on social media, as long as there is the slightest crack or space, the seeds of resistance are always there, ready to sprout. Such Chinese people, deserving of freedom, are bound to win it eventually.